drink it. Can you do that?
Yes.
On your, okay, so that's good. All right. So right now, we are still at the third one there. We haven't started with the first, second, and the fourth and the fifth. We are at the third one because this is the basic actually. Because this sentence has a verb which is different from the other sentences which have a different kind of a verb. This sentence, the verb, okay. The verb manda jare. This verb is not action. Chawa mare. But chawa member into chawa member ki verb into kandis tigi me. The sentence di madu tashi kyung mare. Shemba dosu chawa le liar. Okay, so that's what we are looking at. And we did the first one. There are two types over here. The type New York. One is when you put an adjective, and another one is when you put a noun on today. Chikliya adjective shkaure. Chikliya noun gavechar. Okay. So adjective did you understand? If you have any questions, please ask. Anything that's confusing you, you must ask.
Yes.
Any doubts, or should I move on? 당분이와 숨바시도와 당분이와 도 사유를 한라고 창규래 숨바디 가르치는 거 열시는 숨바디 나리야 verb 디 만다죠 들이야 verb 디 action 말해 저지 말해 벽에 나가서 저지 세 들리가 하티나 이 verb 디 non action 상마 차원 멤버샤가지 제선 차원 멤버기 verb 딘 condition이 sentence pattern condition 용구 이버 디테시켜야 되냐. Okay, so there a pattern. Yes, you can. I think somebody put a a red mark there. It's this part. Yes, it's this one. No, I can't do it because I'm not on an iPhone. I'm on a laptop, so I can't do it. Okay, a laptop can't use it. Okay, the touch mare. This is not a touch screen. So now somebody put a red mark there. Okay, so it's this particular sentence there. All right. So we did one sentence, which is the first part where you put an adjective. Can you see subject, verb, and then subject. You can subject, verb, and yana noun, yana adjective scheme. It's written noun or adjective scheme to one. Okay. So we did the adjective part. Now because the adjective the chair, and you know what an adjective is, right? So I'm going to show you. So did that. Now today we are going to look at the noun part. So in this pattern, you can put an adjective or you can put a noun sigor. Subject, verb, can you see in all the sentences, the first is a subject, the second is a verb. The first and the second. Subject, verb, subject, verb. Somebody logare. Do you understand? But somebody logare manda. Okay, so that is how it's different. So we are looking at sentence 3. And we already finished with when you put an adjective here. There'll be adjectives. Today we're going to look at what happens when we put a noun over here. Okay, so I'm going to move on. All right, now here it is. Okay, this is the first part where we put an adjective. Okay. So we have a subject, and then we have the linking verb, and then when we have the linking verbs to do an action verb mare sigor, chazi mare sigor. It just links the subject and then the adjective, or the subject and a noun, or dingi to connection it. Okay. Yes. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. So now there are two kinds of linking verbs. The linking verb in New York. One is the be verb, very common be verb. Injinali is, are, am, was. The pegen re, yi, says to kore, nga yi, says odire. Those verbs are called be verbs. Kunzu Chelsea men's are linking verb nare. They are not action. The second type are called the non-action verbs. For example, cheba pongus mewe ki chaba dure. Chavalane dig masonte. Cheba pongus yomare. I feel cold. I can't do say Jorba. Ngara catch you, Mara. I can't do it. Rangshingi chumjirba. So the Chavapo Yomare, the means the engine of the non action chagar. All right. He grew tall. Kosuringu passons, Kochabare mado, Korasuringu Yomarwa. Okay. Chavapo Yoma did Nalia. So non action. She seems good. She seems kind. Same Sangdo, how do Lori Mado Delia Chavaske Yoma Dinalia. All right. The food smells good. Kala the tima shimbu kagdu, tima kawa, amjo kova, towa leva, says your what, all right, there's no doer. When there's no doer in English, these are not actions. Do you understand? That's why they're called non-action, and that's why they come under linking verb. The linking verb na ligo. So linking verb na ni yore. Chik be verb today. Ni re says to ba. Chik the chebo pomev today. Okay. So these verbs come under this pattern. Pattern dinalia verb today. Okay. Now here are the examples there. See kan the pattern divta thangema thangbu chebti, where you just put an adjective. Adjective mashkebma delia. Okay. So you see verb, you see the subject, you see the link. In the first part you will see the be verb, and on the other part you will see the linking verb, which is a non-action verb. Tashi is tall, slur. Tashi sugurin du slur ma. Ta shemba delia is my gebeche ingelia non-action chkamne tigo. Tashi looks tall. Sentence na droban chikotre. Tashi looks tall. So din alo linking verb karlu ne tigo. Okay, the sentence will be correct. So Tashi is tall. Tashi suguringu dos. Tashi looks tall. Tashi suguringu how dos. When you put looks, the meaning changes. All right. The monks are clever. Kushodan su jangbu dos. Lorma. Is are the mayaviche non-action scheme. The monks seem clever. The monks seem clever. What does it mean? Monks seem clever. Sentence na lu de chipu chikan karsa dakta dego de chipu chikan lu ne dego de karsa de thanda manda chur. The people were angry. Mima de lung langsung slorwa. Mima de lung langsung slorwa. The people became very, the word my became the people became very angry. Were angry, became lana, became lana. How does the meaning change? The people became some chowdra on each other. The people became angry. All right. Okay. See, word give the be verb the gavra. Became give the non-action verb the gavra. The food is good. But if I put a non-action verb, which is a linking verb, the food smells extremely good. Okay, I put a smell there. It's a linking verb. Smells. So Nijalo jogutus, be verb gamne jogutus, and non-action gamne sentence dinalia, and the nijalolia and sentence takla tegutus yedre. So that was the first lesson that we did. Do you remember this?
Yes.
You remember this? And linking verb because the mangushte yuwa non-action verb da any be verbs too. You can put it in there. Okay. So any questions regarding this? Any questions? Any confusions over here? Big see tall ki keblo liya adjective ki keblo liya chik yo marta adjective le jogo arta sentence adjective le jogo arta. All right, so the keblo chik ki mayo mada the keblo chik on a sentence pattern manda chawi ar. Okay, the adjective le jo they are. Do you understand? So don't bring another word after that. Okay, you can put an adverb. You can say Tashi is very tall. Because this very is standing it. Adverb Tashi is extremely tall. Tashi is quite tall. So this is it just modifies the sentence. It kind of describes the adjective. That helps you expand it. Okay. All right. So that was the first lesson that we did. That was the first one. Please remember, the sentence ends in an adjective. All right, there are no other words coming after the adjective. Okay, now let's look at the next, today's lesson here. All right, now this is when you put a noun, not an adjective. All right, you have the subject, the verb, and then the noun. Adjective, please manda because it's a noun. Noun chilu in the thing adjective. For example, You are students. Okay? You, subject. Are is the verb. This verb is a be verb. Students, now that's a noun. It's not an adjective. You see? Ridwan? Okay? All right. Please respond, because I want to know whether you understood, whether you follow me or not. Okay? All right.
Okay.
This was subject, verb, noun.
Yes, ma'am.
It's different from the previous pattern, because in the previous pattern we saw an adjective coming. Namsa adjective list. Okay, here it's a noun there. You are students. Okay. My brother is a doctor. Now see what's happening. I put a doctor. My brother is a doctor. Doctor, my brother is doctor. My brother is a doctor. You have to put a there. Why?
It's a singular.
Yeah, singular. One noun. We're talking about a singular noun. All right. So, nge brother di any doctor chigres love di. Inti noun ki doing liya le di chigi na chikya gre. Yana da gre. All right. Then you want the da He is the abbot. He is the abbot. Now I put a da there. Now liya the my his that didn't my all right. You can put that in front of a noun. Noun but don't put it if there is no noun there. The sentence the noun you should never put it. If there's only an adjective, you cannot put it. If you cannot say he is a tall, because there's no noun at the end. He is a tall and tall mashmindua. Boys he is a tall boy. Boys live. Okay, so boy delia a cute. All right. So now he is the abbot. Those boys are footballers. Why? Because it's plural. Plural. Okay. Doma and Pema are my sisters. All right. Doma the Pema and sisters. When you put my there, or when you put his. The woman was his classmate. The woman was his classmate. And it's in Dores. Okay. So this is how this pattern works. Subject, verb, plus the noun. Now the verb over here, does it example of be verb? Linking verb, non-action verb. Yoma do non-action dinali. The non-action chilu, the sentence not great. Right? You seem student learner, yes, seems you sentence not right. Dig your mate. My brother looks a doctor, learn the tigger mare. Inch not right. They cut to your mare. Inchimich tavach malulia chicks did what sitosh tavach lugre. Okay, this should so this means that this sentence works only with a be verb. Be verb is the art that the noun to get your okay, all right. So that the chikzi really are the inchimish galleries yesterday. Yana dagam net of that. The Mangzil achun majavas yesterday. All right, Mangzil atumar only means one. Okay, and this only goes with nouns. In Mingzi dunama true for market. All right. Now there are others. Noun what they see that. Can you see those other words that you can put in front of a noun? Noun and this the that right? You are this the you are that tomorrow. My brother is you can put my doctor or your doctor or whatever, okay? And then my your number is 1 2 3 then they many a few kashes here the your some here the quite here you can put it and it'll make sense. Okay, so this is how this sentence works. All right. Sentence okay, any questions about this? Do you have any questions?
Dija said the Manchel
인지 민지 sentence 치 나올래 인지 민지 now 인지 민지 거르베
Kandi.
디제스 시 머베
The like the way.
나올라 디 나 딜라 로탄시 딜레지 돈 로탄시 타야
Oh, you're it. You're
디컨
it.
로시단도
Lotan di kare lana doa. Inginali, the dinian tanda tamariota. Inginalia vowel like doa. A, E, I, O, U, young roya. Inji young. Read Pinal young yova, E, U, E, O, Siova. Chibicare. Tina inginalia young nachore. Young digi. Dat hunge gi tik ji yana di dunia ani di la war ta yanga gi dadi tungu mene and dare ta tande ben chach nye delia abot gap twa sies to di yang tangu di dare A E I O e dele sies to di dare da yigi di marta dadi si urta chensa abot sidu koni yang gi dare sied yang gi dare di in the yang abot gi dunia ani dos lagu mare di abot sigre then near the orange gabiona. O the young guitar. Oh, said the engine. Oh, said the young guitar. Wow. Just orange doing the dust gabiona, the orange laguar. This was the gabduda. The young guitar you beg ticket doing the early marta. Ants the da. And apple. And orange. And abbot. And dua and the and your again to martilia just a young dog doing the these chick articles into the Javan the Mata Chature. That is how why you say D for some and the for the other. But then younger chigorta. Inginalia A E I O U says me the way. The you like judge dua the young jamare. You get the said courier. Umbrella. Yeah, the you go to your umbrella marbe. Oh, you get the slavswa oh the daddy you get the young guitar. Shema the useful slamna you guitar you guitar kure useful midway the young guitar mare. You yorte ko daddy you guitar mother kogu yamare. You the see the corner shine daddy. Do you understand?
Yes.
So if you have, this is a useful book, this is an useful book. Why? Because this sound U is not a vowel sound. The vowel sound of U is umbrella, umpire, like uncle, uncle. You're why you daddy us, or the inside the daddy subsect the you related to one shamba take your shamba sama you coronation daddy yorte you the daddy young daddy other remato you the daddy young mare. You understand? Okay.
Yes.
Shamba kartangi chiba shamba sto kare. Inji now between the job what are you trying to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, it only comes before a noun. This the other. This noun between the mother level koreama. Tangi the lay the and some deep siege me do it. Deep corner lay jo deep corner. If you get on deep corner yorba chick cheda ba chilia kubu any the siege the meet the shoe chick pet shujia krama she me siege me deep. Deep. No, the Kogota, this year. All right. So, young men, the young men, deep like the Yorta, deep prime minister, like the Yorta, deep prime ministers, prime minister Shemba, the Manda, we cope at shooting, he is deep prime ministers, this time on Cheshire that the Petcor Cheshire means, yes, that was called mean to tell the Logota, Shempi the Dimare. The Karsadi Iji Baul Marta, Yene deep prime ministers, like did the issue which quite a corporate catch me should say, or the deep prime minister. Okay, deep actors, deep teachers, the Duke again Shen, the mother wagi pet correct, any chigli kogu of a chick ray. Jida, the young Mevele dealing it in the yore, or did you turn out the kogu? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, so did you understand this pattern? The drawdown pattern.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they
Yes, ma'am.
one, two. You are students. All right. My
Yes.
brother is a doctor. He is the abbot. Those boys are footballers. All right. So Pema and Dolma are my sisters, or Pema and Dolma are sisters. My sisters. Okay. So the woman was his classmate. Okay, so but you will find these words down there, determiners, articles, demonstrators, possessives, numbers, quantifiers. All right, so they usually come in front of a noun. They're called determiners because they determine a noun. They decide something about a noun, all right? Or this cigar. Okay, so let's move on to the next part. Here. So thinking of this previous part, be verb is the art that the linking verb shemba gemna tanda kumaris. You seem students in a tanda kumaris. The inchi sentence not resigo. All right, now suppose we want to put a linking verb. What happens? What changes do you see? Or the linking verb gemna karchagdos. Okay, so this the verb member linking verb chiduna and karchigdos. Now, if I say I am a teacher, the be verb I am my linking verb I have to make changes. For example, I use happen. I happen to be a teacher. I happen to be a teacher. Yeah, happen and I am my this is a linking verb. But I can't say I happen a teacher. You have to put to be. To be a teacher. In the same way, he is a monk. He seemed a monk, not swa. He seems to be a monk. That to be the he seems to be a monk. It is my dog. It appears to be my dog. It is the my appear because that is also a linking verb. Oh, it appears to be my dog. It seems to be. See what's happening? When you put another linking verb, you have to use to be, then your sentence will be correct.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Torch.
Shiva Karina.
Tangi tambo manzo revise chitikala tina peji chinala. The monks seem clever la song.
Oh, di dan di drug mare.
They like to be lago mare. The monks seem to be clever.
No. The previous sentence was subject, verb, adjective. This is subject, verb, noun. That's the difference. Adjective liya para de lubre chine rwa linking verb lune be verb lune sentence thanda they got. He seems
The monks seem clever.
The monks are clever. Love swa.
Oh.
Monks are clever. Love swa thing liya be verb chilu swa. Dine are member chinge seem lune thanda chik sentence tada they got. The monks seem clever. They got to be look marta. The monks seem clever. The monks seem to be clever. To be gamne digota. The monks seem chikosh gamne injinoyomare. The monks seem clever. To be gamne takda dego rian de can I love nashi. All right. To be gab yomare. Okay, so said memoria my gamne yare. Seem clever, seem to be my seem clever. The injinium nyamjet toyor. All right. The dinale inti dinale the manner in sentence now. If it's not an adjective but a noun coming, then good.
Yes.
What's that?
No.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
hope it's not confusing. All right. Okay. Oh, now there's a problem with my internet. This square, the Chavatang. Okay. Now we have a practice over here. You have to put a be verb and then you can put any determiners. Now please remember, determiners can be articles and the thangi manguste maswe. And any say a few say the young number in the cabinet degree, his the my that the cabinet degree. Just put be verb and a determiner and complete the sentences. See if you can do it.
This
Tenzin is a boy.
Tenzin is a boy.
Tenzin is a boy. Okay, then.
She is my
She
teacher.
is a teacher.
She is my
She is
Yes.
teacher.
Oh.
my
My
students
teacher.
are
Are
monks.
monks.
Yes.
My students
Among
are
are
monks.
monks.
Yes. Then
Battle is
Peter
a
Peter is a man.
Peter is a
Peter
man.
is a man.
Yes. Then
Dashi and
Dorma are friends.
my friend.
friends.
Tashi and Dawa are friends.
Yes. Then
my
My
mother.
mother
My mother is a cook.
yes, very good. My mother is a cook.
Cook.
Then
Dogs and cats are enemies.
enemy.
yes, dogs
Enemies.
and cats are
Are
enemies.
enemies. Mangzirwa.
Enemies.
Dogs and cats are enemies. Okay, then
Momo is
Momo
a
is a
dish.
dish.
yes, momo is a dish. Momo is a dish. Okay. All right. So you're doing it right. All right. So the pattern the subject verb noun you today. All right. So be very careful. The the adjective chipo he is a tall yeah, in the he is tall boy like the so you have to be careful there. If there is a noun coming at the end of a sentence, you can put a and the. But if there's only an adjective without a noun, then please do not put the determiners there. Okay, so that's the this. Now let's look at the next one. Now the ring to the sentence ring to. Basic sentence kala ring to kandistang dorsina adjective da adverb ke wa khatu ni engine on dire adjective the adverbs capture and sentence type everything. Okay, so let's look at this. Here we are putting adjective. Basic sentence the subject verb noun yorta in noun gudun ya noun deshe ke adjectives capta khezi big test ma ring to type everything da then chashana dashi is serious dana adjective chugo jasna Nivatelia, Dashi is a monk. Noun to watch your smart. Kunini tango adjective chibo in a sentence the desh tongure. Noun in a sentence nivatere. Asumba derita. Dashi is a serious monk. Dashi is a serious monk. Chavda. They oh the gabare cause in the monk the ranja they or that they means it so I have to put a there.
Yeah.
And then I put an adjective. Dashi is a serious monk. See, I'm expanding the sentence with an adjective. In the same way, they are hardworking. Hardworking. They are students. Now I put them together. They are hardworking students. No, plural.
Actually, it's a plural.
Plural.
Hardworking students.
Okay, understood.
Yes.
So that's how I'm expanding the sentence with an adjective. I put an adjective there. And the adjective, please remember, the adjective comes before the noun you are describing. Mingzi kagi, because adjective mingzi chiteshi ki warta, mingzi chigi kejo indu kone, mingzi kari kejo imedi dun ligre, serious monk, hardworking students. Monk serious marta, Joshua marta, students hardworking mare. It has to come before the noun that you are describing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here we have some practice. Study practice the other day. Now we have all these words there. See if you can just put it in and get different sentences. The article article member you can put many, some, a few, and this, that. Determiner determiner article
My teacher is a clever person.
Yes, my teacher is a clever person. Very good. Then
His Holiness the Dalai Lama is a great spiritual leader.
yes, His Holiness the Dalai Lama. His Holiness the Dalai Lama is
a great spiritual
leader.
great spiritual leader.
Yes, great here and spiritual great spiritual leader. Okay, then
Tibet is a free country.
very good. Tibet is a free country. Just hold on. I just
Sweden is a beautiful country.
what?
Tibet is an
Sweden
independent
is a beautiful country.
Tibet is a beautiful country. Very good. So let's independent
Tibet is independent country.
No, Tibet la the chikrwa.
Yeah, is our
And
is
And
an independent.
and-
Sorry,
and Karchani.
independent vowel sound.
Vowel sound E.
Vowel
Vowel sound. Oh,
Yeah.
the
Sorry.
Tibet is an independent country. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
Then,
Yes.
yes, carry on.
Okay.
We want more sentences.
Yeah.
They are good policemen.
They are
Good
He
policemen.
policemen. Where?
Yes.
he is an actor.
Yes, can you say that again?
He is an actor.
He is an actor.
He is an actor.
Okay, what about an
Yeah.
adjective? Adjective to Luda,
Good actor.
Yes, he is
A good,
Chagata.
great actor.
He is a good actor.
He is a good actor. Then
Then
He is a good person.
he is a good person. Yes, he is a good person. Okay.
I have
Don't put other linking verbs. You must only use the be verb here. Seem like than if you put seem, then you have to put what?
to be.
To be.
To be.
To be.
Is to be.
All right. Mm-hmm. Mingzi lagdu kone dun su mingzi rita honesty sieta justice sieta peace sieta dun sang mingzi rita mingrita the justice na mingre idea ching mingrwa
Written are the
Justice is our policy.
justice is our
It's
policy. Very
our
good.
policy.
Our lamne digo justice is our policy. Digo. Then honesty is the best policy.
Policy. Yeah.
Honesty is the best policy. No,
Tibetan are the courageous people.
yes, very good. Tibetans are courageous. They
Tibetan are the
courageous. Courage lana dirda, mingzi rida, noun rida.
Tibetan
Okay. Courageous lana adjective.
courageous people.
Tibetans are
Courageous people.
Right.
Okay, then
Losa is the wonderful thing.
Losar is a
Is the
wonderful
thing.
Events.
is a
Events.
wonderful event lamne digre re. Losar is a wonderful event. Okay. And Deloswa is the wonderful event. Okay. Okay, then. Peace is a virtue.
Virtues.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this one, this is what. You understood this?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any questions?
So I have one question.
Yes.
Was in were or have had also be verb, right? Was, were, have
Was.
had.
Have, had, have and had are not be verbs.
Okay.
But if you say has been, have been, then it becomes be verb. Because has been, have been is a different tense. The tense mandrachire. Okay?
Okay.
I have been to Tibet. I was in Tibet. I have been to Tibet. I have been the present perfect tense here in Ginalia. The be verb.
Yes.
Have chico be verb marta. Have sin I have a book. It's not a be verb. You understand?
Yes.
If you put it with a be there, I have been together, that is a be verb. I have been to Tibet. I was in Tibet. In last year, I was in Tibet. Years. I have been to Tibet. So this have been is a be verb, but it's in the present perfect tense. Present perfect tense. Oh, the in present perfect tense. Have been. Okay. So the be verb have chico be verb have been. Have the been and be verb. Be verb ki present perfect tense. Yes.
I have a pen because you I have a pen.
I have a pen and a pen. A pen in the mare.
The linking verb madam. The linking verb have.
Yes.
I have a pen.
Yes, Chazi mare.
Linking verb
Linking verb.
linking verb.
That's good. It's a linking verb. Have is a linking verb. All right, but it's not a be verb. Do you understand? I have a pen. A pen. Yes, it's not an action. Action maroya.
Yes.
It's not an action. It is a linking verb. Yes, it is a linking verb. Linking verb.
That means that there are three types.
Yes. Yes, there are two types of linking verb. One is a be verb. One is a non-action verb. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Or did it? Okay. So have the be verb relevant to your mare. Have the linking verb digger. Because linking verb the action member verb linking verb sigore. And I have sluddu kone and the action chung. Have tango marda ya. I have my breakfast lamna.
Sign.
The action re.
It's actually something.
Be very careful. It's action. Yes. I am having my breakfast. Ngakala sa de is lagorta. Now here have is action verb.
Yes.
You have to listen carefully to the sentence and understand whether there's an action or not. If there's no action, then it is a linking verb. If there is an action, then it is not a linking verb. So have can be an action word or it can be a linking verb. But it depends upon how you're using it. Okay, so be very careful. Injin nanlo the yaba the same ke yo mare have khadu in a linking verb re la yo mare have khadu in action la yo mare peja khadistang to as an engine al sik mango chi tunda dam and yore have le tunda pe mango yore engine. Okay, so this is the kone the action nang shi peja tang to yang ko action member nang shi peja tang to dingin ni si ko go so some ko action member some action yore. So you'll see that one word in English, there are many such words which are used in so many different ways. Okay, so you have to look at the context. All right, look at the sentence, look at how it's being used. And then you can say, oh, whether it's a linking verb or an action verb. Understood?
Yes.
Oh, this inji say shu yo mare cuz tik kashi ta mandal bejutang gre tanda ta mandal ko have said pay which. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next one. All right. Now I want you to correct these sentences. Correct these sentences. See if you can correct. There is a mistake in each of these sentences. See where mistakes are.
He's
He is
a good student.
He's a good,
Where is the
good
mistake?
student.
it is
Article.
Put
It's a missing article.
yes,
He
he
is a good student.
Okay.
Monks
Are clever.
Very
The
good.
monks are clever.
Are clever. Yes.
Are clever.
they
These are ripe
There-
mangoes.
There are
No A.
No A. Very good. No
No A.
no.
No A. These are ripe mangoes.
What about the next one?
Today is raining day.
Today is a rainy day. Today is
Rainy
a
day.
rainy day. A rainy
Today
day.
raining day.
Rainy day. We are talking about today, not all the days.
Yes, yes.
Raining.
Then
The internet
is slow.
is slow.
no
Internet is slow.
No.
Not A.
Internet
Not A.
is slow.
No article. No
Slow
article.
is adjective.
Actually an adjective.
Yes, slow is adjective. There is no noun coming after it. Okay, it's mingzi yoma dijele. Slow is all there. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Internet is slow. So no, don't put other. Okay. Then
The apple is
The apple is
Apple is
healthy.
a healthy fruit.
Is a healthy.
put other.
A healthy
Apple
fruit.
is
an
A
apple
healthy fruit.
Oh, they are yaure. Okay,
is
then
healthy fruits. Any computer
next.
Is
Computer is a useful
Gadget.
Great.
Gadget.
gadget.
Gadget sire. The computer is a
Is
useful
a
gadget.
useful gadget.
Okay, what's the last one?
This is an
This
interesting.
is
This
This is
interesting
story.
interesting story.
An interesting
This is
story. This
this
is
is
an
an
interesting story.
This is
An interesting.
interesting story.
an interesting story.
Interesting. And
Yes.
This is what the gap was such the gap was this there. All right, so I hope it's clear.
yeah.
Now, the thinking on the expansion law, any adjective in bar, adverb expansion. Now we know an adverb your engine or adverb in your adverb digi chazi liya te shekure adverb digi adjective later shekure some and some adverb later shekure diya chazi te shekure mangu yor. She spoke loudly. How did she speak? Loudly.
loudly.
Adverb re consonant
Loudly, yes, yes.
all right, or I can say he is very smart. I'm describing smart, all right? Smart, very smart. He is smart. So quite the very, so that's also an adverb. It's describing an adjective, all right? Okay. She spoke very loudly. Loudly, very all right? So it's adverb describing an adverb. Very loudly adverb re. Very the adverb. In a very loudly okay? She spoke quite loudly. She spoke very loudly. Oh, this is what Digi very like the quite like Digi. Any loudly letation get you con loudly cry adverb re very cry adverb re adverb ki adverb teshe capture.
Oh,
You understand?
yes.
Yes,
Adverb
ma'am.
digi verb ye teshe kegre adverb singe digi adjective ye teshe kegre he is very tall. So the tall the adjective rwa. Tall the liya very thonda sab so very tall to the very the adverb tower because very is describing tall which is an adjective. All right.
Yes.
So adverb describes an adverb, adverb describes an adjective, adverb describes a verb. All the same. Okay. Then, because in your adverb ki tuzu kadu chayne, kandis chayne, when, how, your how frequent, because it charge it. Or did some adverbs na later? Okay, so let's look at just these examples over here in the meantime. So we have Tashi was serious. No adverb there. Adverb means okay. Tashi was very serious. Adverb plus now I'm going to put a time there. Khadu serious meta. Tashi was very serious this morning. Thank you. Shoge ko serious shoot those loud what this morning says your serious because that's also an adverb. It's an adverb of time.
Yeah.
So Tashi was very serious this morning.
This morning.
Yeah, tuzu test wa tuzu the adverb of time secret. Tashi was often serious. Often means how often?
Again and
how
again.
Frequently. How frequently something happens.
Yeah.
Right? Serious that is also an adverb. It's called an adverb describing frequency. How many times? Right? So Tashi was often serious last year. Do you understand? So I can put last year also, which is also an adverb because it describes the time. It gives the time.
Yeah.
Action equal to time. Okay. So adverb ring to tanda. Okay. Now let's look at the next one. Tashi was a serious boy. That the adjective nyamdor da. The noun nyamdore. The adjective nyamdore. Okay. Tashi was a serious boy near the boy's lawyer. Tashi was a very serious boy. Tashi was a very serious boy in schools. This is also describing a place. Kawala serious you may. So this is also an adverb. Right? Tashi was always serious in school. This is also describing serious, right? That's also an adverb. So these are different examples of adverbs. It can describe time, it can show place, it can show frequency, all right? All right, it can also show manners in condition. How did he do it? I spoke loudly, I spoke clearly. Okay, so that's how you put adverbs to expand that sentence that we learned. Okay, what was ready? All right, so I'm going to look at the previous one. Data. Delia adverb get to say. Sentence. Correct.
He is a very good student.
Very good.
He's a good
It's together. He's a very good
It's a
student.
very
These days, things, huh? He is a very good student.
Good student.
So he is a very good student these days. These days for adverb.
these days.
What about the next one?
These monks are so clever.
Okay, the monks are
Quite clever.
The monks are clever.
Most clever in this
Monks are
class.
quite clever. Quite you put an adverb there. All right. Okay. Then what about these? These are ripe mangoes. Look, they're the adverb. They're very ripe, light, extremely ripe, light. Today is a rainy day. Adverb.
Today is wonderful.
Rainy day.
Very rainy day.
It's a very rainy day. Today is a very rainy day. Oh. The internet is slow. Adverb together.
Internet is so slow.
Yes, it's so slow. The internet is so
So
slow.
slow.
Yeah. Okay, the internet is so slow now.
Yeah.
Oh, the internet is so slow now. Okay, what about the apple is a healthy
It's a
fruit?
truly healthy fruit.
Very good. The apple is a truly healthy fruit.
Truly healthy fruit.
Oh, the computer is a useful gadget.
computer is the most useful.
Very good. The computer is the most useful gadget. The most most. Okay, what about this is an interesting story? Can you put an adverb?
Story.
This is
It
This
is very
is a
interesting
very
story.
interesting story.
Very lamne tigre, any?
extremely
Extremely interesting story lamne tigre.
It's
Okay.
a wonderful.
I am extremely give this also now. This is a this is an extremely very this is a very because is not a vowel. All right.
Yeah.
Very okay. So that's how you put adverbs there. You can give the check. Now here the adverbs in the curriculum is so anything that describes how condition chung yume, kawala chung yume, kadu chung yume, kazu chung yume, yangsi kadu. This is an adverb. So if you look at all these adverbs quietly, peacefully, ly you guys ly you can some adverb.
Yeah.
Sometimes ly go marta fast like ly go mari. He ran fast like he ran fastly sigma. Okay. All right. So the odd work is in charti. You have this chart. All right.
Much.
And then it wears in the kawal chung above, abroad, far, away, back. All right. In front of, at the back, say the middle way, behind, below. These are all adverbs showing the place. Suggesting what? Okay. And kadu chung now, yesterday, tomorrow, kadu time. These are adjectives, adverbs of time. So you can use all these verbs to expand your basic sentence. All right. How much? Kadu chung entirely, enormously, and very big, extremely, absolutely, so the chazans barely, rarely, barely, all right, we barely had food to eat in Tibet. Hardly, do you know this adjective hardly? Some adverb.
Yeah.
He hardly speaks. Barely okay, and then you have how often young always frequently often normally or generally usually occasionally. All these show how often you do something. I always wake up at 5 o'clock. I sometimes wake up at 5 o'clock. I often wake up at 5 o'clock. I frequently wake up at 5 o'clock. I normally wake up at 5 o'clock. I generally wake up at 5 o'clock. I usually wake up at 5 o'clock. I occasionally wake up at 5 o'clock. I seldom wake up at 5 o'clock. I rarely wake up at 5 o'clock. I hardly ever wake up at 5 o'clock. I never wake up at. I always takwa. Like sometimes. I often takwa mare. I frequently the often chikore I normally and I normally I generally normally the generally they mean the same thing. I usually normally, generally, usually they all mean the same thing. I occasionally something like sometimes I occasionally sometimes. All right, sometimes that is sometimes that is mangare. All right, you do it more often. All right, occasionally means not very often. Okay, seldom. I seldom works with seldom, rarely says the we seldom have meat for food. Halam shahalam sigota. Rarely we rarely have okay. Hardly ever, seldom, rarely, hardly ever never. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you can use it to make your sentences longer or put more meaning. Okay?
Okay.
All right, now that in a sentence, where do you put it? Sometimes not in here. All right. These if you look at these adverbs, consequently, however, next, then, says, doa, you always have this in the beginning of a sentence. Sentence goes to the look there. All right. So I did not care for her tone. However, I let it go. So you call it however, go to swa. Sentence go to the kabuta. Then ani says still says some of the next slide or a doom in the shade you call it. You see it in the beginning of a sentence. Okay. Two sentence go to today. All right. And then time to tomorrow, yesterday, sometime. This is a goal sentence. For example, tomorrow I am going to Kushal Nagar. I'm going to Kushal Nagar tomorrow. Okay, all right. Okay, then these are not very important. You have to put this not in the front, not at the back, in the middle. Wardens. Adverbs of frequency. I often get up. I often get up at 5 a.m. Often the verb I rarely get up at 5 a.m. All right, it comes before get up. Get is the verb. It comes before that. I never get up. I always get up. Or do verb put that in front of the verb. Okay, so after the subject, but in front of the verb. Verb continuity. In the same way, perhaps, probably, certainly, maybe, I will probably be absent at the party. Probably is the party. Okay, this also comes in the middle, but make sure where you put it. All right. I will perhaps, okay, come to class tomorrow. Perhaps the perhaps I will come to class tomorrow. Maybe the maybe he is sick today. Maybe all right, so yeah, adverbs of frequency thing it has to come before the verb. That's it. Okay. Then we have intelligently, quickly, you can put it at the end. All right, you can put it at the he ran quickly at the end there. All right, she spoke loudly at the end. Okay, at the end, no, not much of a problem there. Okay, all right, you put this at the end there. And then when you want to show where something is happening, again, you put it at the end. My father is working upstairs. I go to school in the morning. You see, it's at the end. All right. And then this is adverb of, place yorba. I go to school. I go to school to Sarah. Sarah to you say the place last and time I go to school in the morning. It comes at the end. So be careful where you put it. All right. Especially with adverbs of frequency. So don't put it at the end, don't put it in the beginning, put it right next to or before the verb. Consequently, however, next, this is sentence go to tomorrow, yesterday, sometimes sentence. Adverb of frequency only in the middle before the verb. Okay. Perhaps, probably, they come in the middle, but sometimes they can even come in the front. Okay, or the other. All right, and then at the end, okay, all these adverbs of manner, how you do something, they come at the end. Okay, this way.
Yes.
Yes.
So there's no hard and fast rule. Hard and fast rule. The mother talk the yomare. Casually, adverb of frequency. The younger so we are consumer sentence not correct. Okay. All right. Now, when you can't develop adverb this your word, then to some lot okay. So it's like tomorrow, okay, yesterday, they were one word. But then sometimes, many times you have groups of verbs. that show place, groups of verbs that show time, groups of verbs or groups of words, I mean, not verbs, that show, place and time. All right. So here are some examples. For example, in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, at 6 o'clock. So this is all right. So these are all adverbs, but then they are phrases. Inji TikTok phrase sigorwa tik tik mar tik nyamdo kashin nyamdo tokuwa. So in the morning nyamdo togure, in the afternoon togure, at night togure, at 6 o'clock, last night tango, after school lapte chelia, by lunchtime any lunch just symbol by is to just symbol sigor. On time to tagda. Around 7 o'clock dumbe before 8 o'clock choose gaveng in 2009 you don't gulia. Before 2010, after 6 p.m., in 1980, in the future, next year, all these are adverbs showing time, but these are not words, these are phrases. These are also adverbs. In the morning, in the morning, okay. Place at home, nangla. I was at home last night. At home. In school. He was in school. All right. I was on the bus. Bus now years. All right. We lived at the monastery. Monastery la years. Then it TikTok. All right. He lives in Ladakh. All right. So they all show. So here are some examples. Tashi was an intelligent monk at the monastery. Tashi kobalia kobet rikwaya ushuchres lugo kobenalia. Okay. This is the problem. Okay. I am a lazy person at home. Lazy Pema was very sick last night. Pema tango yora should never nasus. Sonam was often sick in school. Sonam labda yudu kone yang sick
in school.
Tenzin is always sick on Wednesday. Tenzin salhapal kadun never
Sick.
I was here before 9 a.m. yesterday. And tangonga chusu kuvengelia. See all these highlighted, words or phrases in bold. They are adverbs. And some of these are phrases, some of these are words. For example, very is a word. Last night is a phrase. Often is a word. In school is a phrase. Always is one word. On Wednesday is a phrase. All right. Before 9 a.m. yesterday, that's a phrase there. Okay. Be careful when you're using phrases. All right. Yeah. So when you're learning words, some words can be used on their own correctly, but some words you have to use it together with other words. All right. Then only you can get it correct. Okay. Or the TikTok, the Indian TikTok jayamata, TikTok get janguata, TikTok chinche and suguto. This is so important. All right, because a group of words will give you the meaning. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now let's look at see if you can expand these. Expand with adverbs or adjectives wherever possible. See if you can expand this. You can put adjectives and adverbs wherever you want. This is the last part. And Tash.
Fed was independent in 1959.
Before 1959.
Before 1940.
Tibet was independent before 1959. Okay, then
Before 1959.
Delhi is
independent.
Delhi is a capital city. Capital city.
In India.
Delhi is a capital city in India.
Yes, Delhi is the capital city
of India.
Yes. What about number 3?
The monks are students at Sarah Monastery.
The monks are students.
The monks are students.
At Sarah Monastery. Very good. The monks are students at Sarah Monastery. Yes.
In
Or you
syllable.
can put an adjective also. The monks, the monks are smart students at ceremony.
Students, yes,
Okay,
definitely.
what about number 4?
I will
I
be
will be a good teacher.
I will be a good teacher after 3 years.
I will
Yes,
be.
yes. After 3 years, or I will be a good teacher after school, or I will be a good teacher in future. Okay, you can put any of these phrases. Okay, what about the last one there, and then we finish.
COVID-19 is a
Dangerous virus.
COVID-19 is
Come
a
from
dangerous
China.
A dangerous virus.
It is spread from China.
I don't want all that special. All right, I want an adverb there. Okay, so COVID-19
in 2020.
this
a
year.
pandemic virus.
Okay.
Yes,
This year.
a dangerous virus in 2020.
2019.
Yes.
COVID-19 is a dangerous virus
in
It's
In
a
2020.
2019.
220.
In very moment.
Yes, at the moment. Very good.
2020.
All right, at the moment, all right. COVID-19 is a dangerous virus at the moment.
At the moment.
Okay, it shows the time there. Okay, so we'll stop over here. Actually, we finished. And I hope you understood this. And tomorrow I will start another. Okay, so we finish with this sentence pattern. Thank you, sentence pattern. Pattern. Thank you. Let me just show you the last part there. Here. Okay, so this third pattern is done. Pattern number subject, linking verb rita, and we put a noun and we also put an adjective. So we finished with this and how you expand it. Okay. This was the all right, so that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow. Nico Garo. Minha,